Let's take us all back to the election. Trump was doing the YMCA dance. Biden couldn't even spell YMCA. Amy Coney Barrett sailing through, and warp speed was just around the corner. Then, of course, you remember the October surprise. The New York Post aired Hunter Biden's dirtiest laundry, thanks to his laptop from hell, abandoned at a repair shop in Delaware. Now, if you were watching this channel, you heard a lot about it. That was news. But if you were listening to the mainstream media's Russian-style propaganda, courtesy of the Biden campaign, you were watching the biggest disinformation campaign almost in American history. On day one, when the New York Post broke the story, journalists around the country swooped in to debunk the laptop and all of the secrets that lurked inside. They labeled it Russian disinformation, fake news. Articles like this were surfacing all over. The truth behind the Hunter Biden's non-scandal. Jen Psaki was quick to pull the trigger at the time. She said, quote, "The Hunter Biden story is Russian disinformation." They all sounded like parrots, annoying us with the same talking points. Even CIA officials put out a letter claiming this couldn't be true. Who asked the CIA anyway? Anyone that reported on the laptop or its contents was spreading disinformation, and they were censored. In America, not Russia. Think about that. They even kicked the Post off Twitter, the country's oldest newspaper. They conspired and they lied. Even Hunter grabbed a mop and helped with the cleanup job.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but you know that this is.
I really don't know.
Okay.
The answer is.
You don't know, yes or no, if the laptop
I don't have
was
any
yours.
idea. I have no idea.
So could have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. There could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence.
The disinformation campaign was a huge success. Polls showing that 1 in 6 Biden voters would have changed their votes if they had known about the laptop. So if you went through all of that, you'd be pretty surprised today when you opened up the New York Times and peeled it open all the way back to page 20 to see this headline. Quote, "Hunter Biden paid tax bill, but broad federal investigation continues." Is this the first time they've mentioned the investigation into Hunter's sketchy business deals? The Times reports that this all started off with a tax audit under the Obama-Biden administration. And then it soon turned criminal when his dad was running for president. So you're telling me that the Obama-Biden administration started looking into Biden's son's taxes, and Biden's son never said anything to his dad about it? Like, hey, Dad, why is your IRS auditing me? There's no way Joe didn't know. And then your father's running for president and the feds open up a criminal investigation into you for money laundering, and you don't pull your dad aside and say, hey, Pop, there's this little thing that may come up during the campaign. Not a huge deal, but I'm kind of under investigation. Of course Hunter told Joe that. Joe knew the whole time the laptop was real. And so did the New York Times. Hidden deep inside that article was an admission. Quote, "Those emails were obtained by the New York Times from a cache of files that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden in a Delaware repair shop. The email and others in the cache were authenticated by people familiar with them and with the investigation." So we were right about Hunter being paid $3.5 million by a Russian billionaire? So you're saying we were right about Hunter being given a 3-carat diamond from a communist Chinese businessman? 3 carats. It's a big rock. When a man gives another man a diamond, it's one of two things: an engagement or a bribe. Now, Hunter's into some weird stuff, so we'll call it an indecent proposal. We were right about the $50,000 a month he was making as a gas expert working for Burisma, and that Hunter arranged for his dad to meet with Burisma lobbyists before he fired the prosecutor. We were right about that. And if we're right about all of this, because the laptop has been proven real by the paper of record, then that must mean Joe Biden really is the big guy.
And then it has 10% for the big guy held by H. I 1,000% sit here and know that the big guy is referencing Joe Biden. That's crystal clear to me because I lived it.
And the big guy lied when he was running for president. Listen.
Totally discredited. And by the way,
well, wait, he didn't get $3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
he got $3.5 million.
It is not true. My son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
Mr. President, let him answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited.
By who?
And
the media?
By everybody. Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown.
So Biden, the Democrats, the intelligence community, and big tech lied and spread dangerous misinformation to win an election. And it gets worse, if you can believe it. Joe was knee-deep in Hunter's finances, shared bank accounts, credit cards, paying each other's bills with dirty foreign money. The laptop and the emails confirm those accusations. He was allegedly cutting 10% here and there in exchange for secret meetings with sketchy Chinese businessmen at the White House while he was vice president. He took meetings at Cafe Milano in Washington, pretty good place, with some Ukrainians and Russians and Kazakhstani businessmen that Hunter was trying to strike up deals with.
I met with the former vice president in person multiple times, and I had been meeting and talking with Hunter Biden and Jim Biden and Rob Walker and James Gilliar.
Oh, the Biden brothers, too. And Joe didn't have a problem with any of this. Why would he? His family was getting filthy rich. Remember how smart Hunter Biden is?
He's a grown man. He is the smartest man I know. I mean, in pure intellectual capacity. And as long as he's good, we're good.
Joe says Hunter is the smartest guy he knows. The smartest guy. Wow. Maybe that explains Afghanistan and the border and inflation and gas prices. Here's what happened when Jen Psaki was asked about this story today.
The New York Times has authenticated emails that appear to have come from a laptop abandoned by Hunter Biden in Delaware. The president previously said that the New York Post story about this was a bunch of garbage and that it was a Russian plant. Does he stand by that assessment?
I've pointed the Department of Justice and also to Hunter Biden's representatives. He doesn't work in the government.
Hunter doesn't work in government? Yes, he does. It's the family business. Hunter is the family lobbyist. Excuse me, Hunter is also a very talented painter. And if foreign agents want to spend $250,000 to buy influence, I mean a painting from the first family, well, the White House doesn't have a comment. If they do, it's probably just more disinformation. You just hear the conversation about the laptop from hell?
Yes, I did.
When this was all going down in the fall, did you see what the left was doing with this disinformation campaign? Did you come out and say anything about that?
Absolutely. As soon as this letter came out from these so-called intelligence specialists, the DNI, John Radcliffe at the time, and the FBI, which worked for me, both came out and said this was not the result of disinformation, Russian disinformation. The media ignored that completely. Just kept on going with the disinformation line.
I mean, that's pretty egregious. I mean, would you say that there was a conspiracy between big tech, former intelligence officials, the media, the Democrats to, I don't know, let's just use the word rig an election?
Definitely. That definitely made an impact on the election.
Okay.
The suppressing that news. And it's not a question of whether it was criminal or not.
Right.
Just the facts alone were shameful. And most Americans would immediately see what was going on and how repulsive it was. And it would have had an effect. The issue of criminality is a different issue.
We'll get to that.
Reporting from the New York Times lifts the lid on Hunter Biden's run-in with the IRS. The president's son paid an over $1 million tax liability in the year after he initially disclosed an investigation into his, quote, tax affairs in late 2020. Despite the payment, though, a federal grand jury continues to collect evidence on the younger Biden's failure to pay taxes on time. And while paying back the liability does work in Biden's favor, it does not shield him from criminal charges. And that is according to tax experts for the Times ended up speaking to. So yikes, he could end up. So that's like Al Capone stuff, right? Isn't that why he went to...
Hunter needed a money guy. He had other guys. He needed a money guy.
I think
he had a lot of money coming in, what, $50,000 a month from Burisma?
Yeah.
That's the problem with getting those just straight $50,000 a month checks. You have to put, your 20% aside for tax man
for that kind of money.
I mean, you know better from all the 1099 work you've done, right?
You'd have to set aside something that level, that much
more
money.
More than 20%.
Yeah, 50%. Yeah, I would say you set aside 50%.
So what are the chances that Hunter Biden on his benders, because we know that while he was doing his Burisma work, he was on some of these
drugs,
legendary benders, winding up on Skid Row, etc. What are the chances he was putting 50% of that away?
Well, he wasn't.
Not great.
Right, he wasn't. And so he ended up with this tax debt, but he did
took
pay
a loan
it off.
out, according to Vogel's reporting. He took a loan out to pay this tax bill. Which
Just $1 million, that's a loan?
Yeah.
Oh, yikes. Where's he going to get that money to pay off that debt now?
In Romania. No, he's sanctioned. He can't, he's going to be...
Oh, yeah, he can't.
Can't get it from Russia. I mean, he still has access to clients around the world.
His art?
His art. He's going to have to sell a few paintings.
Sell his art?
That's right.
Sell more art.
I saw on Twitter, and I assume they're referring to the same story, but it might be a different New York Times story. Michael Isikoff of Yahoo News tweeted a screenshot of the Times story. I think it's this story, and saying, in the category of didn't see this coming, the New York Times has confirmed the authenticity of the Hunter Biden emails derived from his laptop that were previously dismissed as Russian disinformation.
The Times is finally confirming those?
It's confirmed.
I didn't know the Times had pretended that they didn't.
They were not
know
confirmed.
Those were confirmed.
Right.
But this story
I responded with a GIF of the Pokemon Slowpoke.
Right. So, okay, fine. Okay, thank you, New York Times. It's been clear for a very long time.
It's clear from day 3.
It was, yes, it was clear even prior to the election. It was clear.
Yeah.
Because
it was clear on day 3. They didn't refute it.
they didn't refute it, but you could, and I spoke to some people who were on the other end of emails who were like, yeah, okay, that is my email. Mm-hmm. And you had, Bobulinski and others saying yeah, I'm on these emails. Here's my end of the email. These are not fabricated. So, yeah. But that's interesting that the Times is now saying that. So
now we're allowed to believe it.
There you go.
And talk about it freely without being censored.
Right.
That's the way it goes. Another conspiracy theory that's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, they went all out on that.
They really did.
Like New York Post wasn't allowed to tweet.
Yeah, for a while, wasn't it?
You literally couldn't.
It was the most egregious example of tax censorship until what happened to us.
Yeah.
That's right. Right. That's right. And then what happened to us just really topped it.
Just kidding. No, it was a bad call. I mean, it was so bad that platforms admitted it was a bad call, right? Facebook and Twitter both said in appearances before Congress that they got that one wrong. That was a bad call.
It was beyond a bad call because it ultimately, that it is in a way. What do they? I mean, I'm trying to not say the word, but election interference in a way, right? So it is. It's
that's why they had fallen on their sword over it.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but
my
know
point
that this is.
I really don't know.
Okay.
The answer is.
You don't know yes or no if the laptop.
I don't have
was
any
yours.
idea. I have no idea.
So could have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. There could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence. It could be that it was stolen from me.